Over to you.
Hello. Oh, I get to kick the whole thing off today. Welcome to the show, everybody. Today we have Andy, of course, because he never gets a show. That's why he makes
Hello. I know.
And we are joined by our guest for today, Nick Trapani. Nick is a comedian, a podcast host, a radio host, and you have some really cool ghost stories too.
Yeah,
so thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Absolute pleasure.
I just got to clarify. I've actually been kicked off the radio for telling everyone that I was a doctor. Apparently,
sorry, I think that's dead funny.
I was giving like diet advice, and my co-host said, "Well, don't listen to Nick. He's not a doctor." Talking about what I eat and everything, and I said I am a doctor, and then the producers didn't like it. And the funniest story is that a couple of weeks later, I was going to the Gold Coast on a flight, and some guy was having a medical issue. And so the air hostess called over the mic saying, "Is there any doctors on the plane?" And I'm like, this is my moment, to film this, get up, and then send it to the producers that I helped this guy on the plane. But 3 other doctors got up and beat me.
Oh, no. Yeah. No, so close. So close.
Yeah.
Cool. So you're in Melbourne, Australia.
Correct.
If nobody could guess. Yeah.
So it's pretty early over there.
Yeah.
Right? It's what, 7:30?
What's that? Sorry?
It's pretty early over there, right? What time is it? 7:30?
Well, look, I'm up early most days. I actually didn't sleep well last night. I've been up since about 4 a.m. Well, so I think I've been cursed. I've never been able to sleep well.
I hope I'm not guilty of that, because I was messaging you at stupid o'clock this morning, my time.
No, I think I was so excited to come on here I couldn't sleep.
There we go. That's it. That's what it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you big on TikTok, big on Instagram, and you've got a YouTube channel as well that Nicole's just rhymed off. All them links are in the description on here. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start off with the comedy, or do you want to jump straight in with the paranormal? Your call, mate.
Oh, my call. Jeez, this is your podcast. I don't want to take over.
It's fine. Give me a rest.
What do you tell me what you want to go first, and I'm more than happy to go down any path. Yeah,
I think comedy.
Comedy?
Comedy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I sent you a clip, so I think it's on your mind.
Yes, it is so funny.
Yeah.
What made you decide you wanted to be a comedian? Like, how did it all get started?
I was always a class clown. Like at school, school wasn't for me. I hated every minute of it. I was actually in a band when I was at school, so I'd just write, all day lyrics, write songs all day at school. If I wasn't doing that, I was trying to make all the kids laugh. That was it. And my uncle was a professional comedian, so there was always in the back of my mind, knowing that being a comedian was a job, you know, or something that you could get into, where some people, I guess, don't have that luxury of just knowing that you can just get into comedy. And then I left it very late in life. Like I just had other things that I was doing. And, you know, you sort of, I don't know, like that first time you get up on stage is like the worst feeling in the world. So I just put it off and put it off. And then I eventually just said, no, that's it. I'm doing it. And I went to this open mic night, and I knew nothing about the comedy scene at that stage. And it turns out that I went to this really, you call it lefty uni student PC comedy.
Right. Not the best place to go.
Me going there trying to do, you know, really dark humor, not really knowing, and not knowing how to do dark humor as well. There's a real skill to it. When you first start off, because you don't want to be offensive, right? You want to have fun and play with the audience, and you've got to get them to like you first. But, you know, I knew none of this in the beginning. And so I've got up there, performed to about 3 people in the crowd because everyone had left by that stage. And then the MC got off afterwards, and she was like, well, at least you can say you've done comedy now. Like, that's how bad.
Wow.
So that made me go home and rethink what I was doing, because I'm like, I thought I'm funny, right? I'm funny with my friends. I try and be funny at work, wherever I am. Like, how can I relate this now to being on stage? And so I really studied it, like every aspect of it. I went back and watched all my favorite comedians. I then just started networking more, trying to find the right people to be around to learn off, going to different open mic nights to see what other comedians were doing. And then slowly worked out on how to really structure a joke. That's the most important thing. A lot of people come to you and say, oh, I could be a comedian, you know, I'm funny, but how can you relate that on stage and get everyone to understand what you're talking about in the least words as possible? That's comedy.
Yeah.
How do you find the line, the balance though, between like what's funny and what's offensive? Because it seems like it's getting harder these days.
Look, I think that gap's getting bigger again. You know, like when I first started, it was quite small and there were things that you couldn't talk about and everything. I think now, like, it's starting to open up again a little bit. Sometimes, so there's being offensive just for the sake of being offensive, and you'll find that the crowds then tend to steer away from you when you start just being too offensive or swearing too much, or, you know, that type of thing. Especially if you're doing darker humor, you want to try and structure it in a way that they still love you. Like, you know, you're there to entertain them. So if I say a joke that doesn't land properly because it might be a little bit too offensive, you know, I might just say, oh, so that's the line there. We're not going past that, guys. Is that where you're at? You know, so now I know you don't want to talk about that subject. Make a little bit of light humor about it. And so you might say, oh, you know, I joked about all this other stuff. You're okay with talking about this and that, but now you're not okay with that. So you make a joke about it and then just pull it right back so that you're not then stepping across that line that they don't like.
Have you seen Paul Smith, the Scouser from the UK?
Sorry, it just cut out there.
Paul Smith.
Yeah.
Have you seen how he goes over the line? And just
That's right.
But he's got the audience. And he's just there.
One of my favorites starting off, I think when you get on stage, when you first started, you're almost taking on the personality of another comedian that you really like. And so for me, it was Anthony Jeselnik. So he does really dark humor. He's probably known, like, he really made it big when all the roasts, so the roast of Donald Trump, the roast of Justin Bieber, all those things. And that's where he really became big. But he does really, really dark humor. But his timing is perfect. And so when I was on stage, if I watched over my first few sets, I'd be like, I even wore a leather jacket because he wore one. It's almost like you're taking on that character because you haven't found yourself yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to find yourself? Sorry, Nicole.
Probably, you know what? I think even now I'm still finding myself like a few things that I'm doing are like breaking through like the mold that I was told that I had to be, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, when you first start out, people say, oh, you know, if you want to get all the shows, you know, you got to stick between this, you got to do that. And you listen to them all, of course, because they're your superior, you know, they're the pros, they're the ones that you listen to. But as I'm getting, you know, more comfortable with just being who I am on stage, like I've done a few things. So my Melbourne Festival show, we have a festival every April in Melbourne. It's a massive festival. There's, you know, thousands of shows that run in it. So I ran my solo show this year and I named it Narcissist because it was, for me, it was breaking that mold and coming out and being the character that I want to display on stage. And I touched on topics that I couldn't even, I won't discuss on here, but it's stuff that was really, really, you know, dark and, you know, but how can I touch on a subject like that? And it was picking fun at my dad as well. So I've put him into a character to make him look really bad, but how can I even get him to enjoy it? So that was the whole task of like, how can I talk about something that's so, you know, dark and horrible, but make fun of it and make everyone enjoy it? Like, that's the challenge.
I'm a big fan of dark humor, so that's right up my alley.
Sick and twisted. I think we all are a little bit.
A little bit sick in the head.
That's why it's coming back, I think, you know, like everyone, you know, deep down still likes these topics. We're not trying to offend. I know that we're talking about being offensive before. A comedian's job is not to offend. I believe some do. Some just like to offend. Every now and then, you know, I remember early on I did a joke and my mum was like, where did you get that from? I'm like, I wrote it. What do you mean? And she goes, well, everyone laughed at all your other jokes, but that one they kind of went, oh. And I'm like, well, that one's for me. That's what that joke is for me to enjoy. But since then, I've changed my attitude, and it's like, how can we get them to enjoy that joke? You know, how can we structure that? Where can we put it in the set as well? Because, you know, you can't come out and just do, you know, something really horrible to begin with. You need the audience to like you first. So
But do you think it's getting more acceptable now? Because, well, I'm going to go down this road anyway. I don't care. With all the snowflakes and that are just getting offended at every single little thing that you say or talk about, it's like all that's had to be pushed out of the way. And it's like, look, we're going to go in, we're going to have a laugh, we're going to take the mickey out of it. We're not going to be offensive, but we need to make light of all this crap that's going on, rather than everyone just getting all uppity about it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Look, I think it's a pendulum, you know, and we went down, like the pendulum's going this way and everyone's becoming so accepting of everyone, you know, and there's so many things that we're learning about people and, you know, what they want to identify as, every topic, you know, and everyone goes down the path and we're accepting of all these things. And it sort of got to a stage where you're not allowed to joke about that topic because we don't want to offend anyone. And we've got to.
He's gone. They've took him.
He's too offensive.
Oh, no. He's actually gone.
I know. He must have lost it.
No, but with him saying what he just said, it's like, if everyone's accepting all this stuff that's being accepted, then the dark humour must be accepted as well. It's a give and take. It's not just take. You've got to give. We thought they took you then.
Something happened. I don't know. Maybe they. You know what? The PC crowd were listening to this and they didn't want me to continue about what I was saying.
Yeah.
You pissed somebody off.
But I was just saying, well, when you was off then, we're accepting all these different things that are going on that we're not used to. So it's only fair that dark humour is accepted, because you can't just it's give and take. It's got to be a nice equal balance of it all. So if you want to be like that, then you've got to come down this level with the rest of us.
Yeah, and I think like we all went that path, and we're all, you know, willing and accepting. And I think now that we're at a stage where we're like, all right, well, we accept everyone for who they are or what they believe in or everything like that. but let's poke fun of it again. Let's make fun of
Yeah.
ourselves. I think that's the best thing, is that we need to be able to make a joke about, I find if someone's talking bad about me or saying something about me behind my back, like I want to know, like, I think that's hilarious. I want to know what people are saying,
Yeah, I'm the same.
Thinking about talking bad about people, do you do a lot of crowd work at your shows?
I do a bit, yeah. I would say that it's a very risky game to be playing, doing crowd work. For any advice that I'm getting, for comedians that are starting out, for the first couple of years, steer away from crowd work, because it can really throw you off the path of what you're doing. You're trying to remember jokes that you've written and everything like that. And then all of a sudden you'll go to the crowd for something. They give you an answer that's way out of what you thought they were going to say. And then you're in a bit of trouble. One thing I'm lucky, I'm pretty quick on my feet thinking. I do a lot of MC work as well. And so you have to be faster at just talking to people and coming up with an answer. So, that set that I sent you that you watched, I straight up start with crowd work, and that can go anywhere. Yeah. So it's a really enjoyable part of my show now, where I'll come out and just interact with someone and just see where it goes and what happens and how the crowd react to it. And so I've started doing a lot more crowd work.
Yeah.
How do you kind of like pick your victims?
Once again, you got to be strategic with what you're doing. People will usually yell stuff out as well, of course. You get the hecklers. And so it was quite funny. I put on a show. So I'm also an ambassador for a men's mental health group. It's called Beyond the Banter. And I put on a show for them recently, a live comedy, and we did raffles and all this sort of stuff. And so I had a group of my friends that were there. And one of them was a lawyer. And one of the comedians, before I got on stage, found out that he was a lawyer. And during my set, he yelled out at me. And so I did something that I never done before, but I completely went off the handle at him on purpose and just screaming at him, saying, you're my lawyer. You're meant to just sit there and be quiet. And if I do something to offend someone, you're meant to protect me. And that's it, with a few swear words in between. And, the whole crowd didn't know what was going on. One of my other friends, who's a comedian that was on before me, he was outside. He's come running back in because he's hearing me losing it on stage, but it's all an act. And then after I finished, I just went, in the nicest way possible. So, you've got to try and it's all a juggling act. And, finding those people in the crowd that you can have fun at. And, and so, for example, people don't know the set that I did, but I came out and I told this old man that I really thought he was gorgeous and I'd been watching him all night and everything. Now, if I came out and did that to a lady, it's creepy.
Yeah.
But doing it to an old man so this is where I'm saying, you got to pick your audience, or who you're doing it to. And that's all part of the act.
Yeah.
That was funny.
It was so good. The way that you said, about he did his hair, and you went, you don't normally have your hair like it's only greasy. I know because I've been watching you, but you won't have been able to see me.
Well,
I've been looking at you through the window. I was crying. I couldn't breathe.
I don't think he picked up on it because I told him his name very early on.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, you wouldn't be James, would you?" And he said, "Who stitched me up?" And so that's how I tried to tie it all back in, because I said, "You wouldn't have seen me because I was peeping through your window, looking through your letterbox to check out your name on your mail." Now, he didn't pick up on that at the time.
Got you.
That's where my mind was going, the path that I was going down. But it was good fun. There was about 80 people at that show, and they ranged from 20-year-olds, but there was only one table of 20-year-olds, and the rest were 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot. The OAPs they look like from the angle of the camera.
Yeah,
but they were all laughing. They was all in and going for it.
Yeah.
But there's another thing as well that I wanted to pick up on. Australian, we were saying off air that Australian and English humour is very similar, but Australian are not as worried about what they say.
Yeah.
Because I've got family in Australia over in Brisbane, and it doesn't matter whereabouts they are, but when they're talking, telling you stuff, they'll just come out and say exactly what they think and don't even worry about offending anyone.
Yeah, and I think I'm worse than everyone at that. I actually, like I enjoy being in like a cafe or something like that and talking really loud about something that I shouldn't be talking about just to annoy the people that I'm with. You know, we don't care. I think there's no filter in what we say compared to, especially Americans, like they're very much, like they want to, I guess it's keeping face, like you don't want to say anything wrong that will offend your family, your friends, all that sort of stuff. Like we say the C word so freely, like, every second word.
That one I don't get. I don't get why people are so offended by that one.
Yeah.
See, I don't use that word. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
But I have used it on very extreme occasions, but I don't.
No, people here are like, it's the worst thing you can say to a woman. I'm like, why? It's not that bad.
Yeah. That's how we tell our partners we love them. It really is, like if they're a good C, well, that's the best thing you could be.
Yeah.
I love
my
that.
God. Yeah, it is. So have you got, because you said you've got the festival in Melbourne in April. I know you've got to go out tonight or today to go out, and you're doing a gig later on after this, aren't you?
Yeah, so I've got to do 5 hours after this to go to a place called Mount Gambier to do a show. Yeah.
So are you doing a tour, or are you just booked in at random locations?
Just booked in. So these are just this show is just booked in with another comedian, good friend of mine, Doug Chappell. So it's his show and he's invited me along. Last weekend I was in Sydney doing some shows there as well with another friend. So these ones are just shows that are put on towards the end of the year. I'm actually going to Bali at the end of the year. I host the New Year's Eve gala at the resort that I stay in, which is called the Trans Resort. So I did it last year there, and that was fantastic. So I've been invited again to do it again. So, but this one, driving 5 hours in the car with another comedian, it's literally like, that's the comedy show. If like you could film that and post that anywhere, you get banned from everything that you could do.
Yeah.
Because it starts before you even get there. Like he said to me, are you all ready to go? And I said, yeah, look, but I just don't know like which sex toys to leave at home. Like, I've got so many of them. I don't know what to leave at home. Like that's the comment that,
Yeah.
See, that's what you got to record that and put that out as a special. People will 100% watch that. It's a 5-hour drive.
Yeah.
Super special.
It should. We should do it.
Netflix should pick it up.
Yeah. And I always liked, the behind the scenes stuff. One of the most amazing things for me when I watch any comedy special or anything like that, it's seeing the person walk out. Like for me, it's like, what happened behind that stage? What happened before that? What was that person doing? How did they get to the venue? What did they have for dinner? I don't know. The weird thing for me is like that raw stuff, because what's on stage for me, most of that that's all a production. That's all done. But what you did before that, that's what I want to know, So even when podcasts are filmed, like sometimes when they're just, Joe Rogan just goes straight into it. Yeah. They've been talking and they're like, all right, we're rolling now. And you catch that little 30 seconds before he says we're rolling now. And you're like, I got that extra little bit that I didn't know I was going to get.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah,
I have done that. A couple of times, but then I stopped doing it because I kind of felt bad on the guests, because I didn't want them to say something that's going to trip them up, and then it goes out live on air. But I might, do you know what? After talking to you, I might just start doing it again.
Just do it. You've got a great intro. Your intro is fantastic. The whole.
Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah. And
it just sitting there, we're all sitting there like with all the music.
It took a while to make that. That's 5 different intros put into one, and then just
you couldn't decide.
Together.
You couldn't.
Well,
someone comes in and they're like, "Oh, we've got 5 intros. Pick one." You're like, just put them all.
Well,
together.
I do 5 podcasts, 5 different ones.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I had a different one for each thing, and I wasn't doing each podcast enough.
Yeah.
For it to play the full intro. So I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to put them all together, get the main bit of the first one, put a few little bits in the middle, and then put the end bit on of the other one, and then just see how it works. And I sat there, I put it all together. I'm sat there watching it, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe I've just made that. That is effing amazing. And I've just kept it since.
Sometimes that's the best way to do something, isn't it? It sort of happened by accident.
Well, that's the thing. It took me 3 years to learn how to create videos, digital videos, and all that. And I know I go on about every week, but I had started using AI now quite a lot for the backdrop, for bits and pieces. I use copyright music.
That's today, by the way.
Yeah, I use copyright music that I pay for, so then I know I'm covered. But I want to keep it my own. Do you know what? As you probably do with the way that you do stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just, I needed to bring something else into it, and I just put it all together, and it's like, even though it only took me like 20 minutes to put them videos together, it was 3 years learning how to do it. That was the hard work. So, and that's what we've got. And I'm amazing. Not changing it. Just takes too long.
Yeah.
He's not about in 2 weeks.
No, I'm keeping this one for at least another 6 months.
All right.
Yeah, nice.
So I just want to say thank you, Paraman, for the donation. Do appreciate it. Right. So I'm just looking at the time because we're at nearly at 30 minutes now. So jumping from comedy to the paranormal, how did paranormal, did it become part of the comedy, or was it a completely separate thing?
Yeah, completely separate thing. I think, the first major experience I had, I would have been about 18 at the time.
Yeah.
And I guess I had other things that happened when I was younger, but you sort of just put it off to something else, or you try and forget about it, or you don't really pay much attention to it. Even one of the first phones I had was an LG flip phone, and it had a camera on it. It was like my first ever camera, and I'd been out, at the pub or something like that. And I came home, and I used to be a smoker. And so I'm sitting at my parents' back deck, having a cigarette before I went to bed at 2 a.m. And I've opened the camera, and I'm just playing with it. And I'm sat at a table, and I took 2 photos. And opposite me, there was something in the photo. Like in one, it looks like it's got a huge grin, and it almost looks like there's an army hat or something on it.
Oh.
And then the next one, the mouth's wide open, and it's like screaming at me. And I only got these 2 photos. It's very, very pixelated, very bad quality. But even that, I still never fully went down the path of paranormal and all that sort of stuff, even though I got that. But the first major experience, as I said, I was 18 years old. My friends at the time were all just, laid back, all into heavy metal, not really into anything paranormal or anything like that. And I decided to catch up with one of my mate's older brothers, who was a real hippie. He had the dreadlocks, smoked marijuana, all that sort of stuff. And I said to him, let's catch up. Let's, for the first time, let's have a drink together and hang out. And so we'd taken my girlfriend home, who lived about 30 minutes from my house, but more out to the bush. So I'm in the suburbs, and she was more further out. So on the way home, we're coming down this dark, windy road, and I almost heard like a megaphone, the feedback going off, and then a bang. And so I sort of jumped in my seat as I'm driving. And I said, what was that? And he's like, in the passenger seat, he goes, I didn't hear a thing. What are you talking about? And I said, that bang, I heard this bang. And he's like, didn't hear it. And the next thing, after about 30 seconds, I could smell this really foul smell. And so I said, mate, did you just fart? Like, what are you doing? And he's like, no, I'd tell you if I did. And I kept arguing with him. And then I thought, well, we're trying to come to some conclusion. Maybe I hit something, a kangaroo or something that had been dead, and then now the smell is coming through the vents. We're trying to work out what's happened, why I'm smelling this. Now, it was a really hot summer's night. So it was 35 degrees here. And, we're in shorts and a singlet. And all of a sudden, I started to get goosebumps all over me. I was cold. And I'm like, to my mate, I'm like, look at me, I'm cold. Like, what's going on? And then I could smell that smell again. And I'm like, can you smell that? And he's like, I can't smell anything. And so I was really like trying to work out, but at this stage, not thinking anything paranormal, just trying to work it out. And we finally got back to his place. And the plan was that we'll just go grab the drinks from inside and we'd just go for a walk. As I said, it was a beautiful night. And he was standing about 10 meters away from me. And I'm like, there's that smell again. So it was the first time I could say, well, he's not close enough for me for it to be him. And also, it's not coming from the car. So, and at that stage, he could smell it then as well. So it became more apparent that something's not normal here. And then as we're walking down his driveway, I got cold and I got the goosebumps again. And then it's almost like it left me and went to him. So then he would get cold and I would warm back up. And so as we're walking down, this happened a couple of times. Now, we then went to a park and we just sat down and this is why I really think I was with him and that I explained, he was a bit more free-spirited and a hippie and all that sort of stuff. Because we sat down and he said, is there anyone that's passed recently that you had unfinished business with? Now, none of my friends at that stage would have said that. And so I was like, no, not that I can really think of. There's no one, that I know that has passed recently. But I said, look, I did write a song because when I was born, my nan had a major stroke. So she didn't know I was her grandchild. So in the lyrics, I wrote, you didn't even know who I was or something along those lines. And then he goes, well, look, it could be her. Let's just sit down and have a chat with her and see what happens. So we both just sat there and it was quite strange. I was sort of sat like this and it felt like someone was just holding me. And it was this really calming experience. And so afterwards I said to him, what did you say? And he said to me, oh, look, I just told her you're doing really well, Nick. You finished high school, but, you're looking for work and you're doing really well. You're going down a good path. And about 2 weeks after that happened, it was almost like this weight then lifted and then that cold feeling we were getting and everything disappeared and never came back. Oh. And so then 2 weeks later, I got a phone call from a family friend of mine that was a plumber. And he said, Nick, I got some work for you if you want to do it. And I'm like, yeah, of course, I'd love to do it. And he goes, all right, we've got a contract. It's at a suburb. It's called Faulkner Cemetery. It's a massive cemetery. It's there. We do all the maintenance works for that place. So I was there for about 2 weeks. And one day I was leaving for work. And my mum goes, oh, Faulkner Cemetery, that's where your nan's buried. And I was like, wow, my mate told her that I needed work.
Yeah. That's like, there's no coincidences. What are the odds that something like that happens?
Yeah. And so that was where I was like, all right, there's something here that I want to look further into. Yeah. And then since then, I've gone to 2 clairvoyants or mediums, whatever you want to call them, and both of them brought up my nan. So every time she's come up in a reading that she's always around me.
Yeah.
And the most interesting one last time, as I said, I didn't really know my nan, but the last time I went, this lady was like, Nick, your nan's around and she's got this little purse and it's full of coins and she's dropping the coins, but you're not finding them. And I went home to my mum. My mum's actually my receptionist at work. So I went into work and I was like, Mum, tell me something about Nan. Did she have a purse with coins or something? And she goes, oh yeah, she had this purse and it had all these really rare coins in it and she'd carry it everywhere with her. And I'm like, how can you even get that? Yeah. That's so random. It's so specific that you can't make that up.
Yeah, you can't make any of that up.
So have you been looking for signs since then? Have you looked for coins that were dropped or anything like that?
I've just been robbing people, just taking their coins. You know what? Every now and then I think of it and I go, have I missed something? But I do believe that, yeah, look, I think, you got people that might guide you or just stay close to you and protect you or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like she's there.
But with you saying about dropping coins, do you think that was hypothetically speaking? It was more as like dropping clues that she's about.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That, because with what you've said, that'd make more sense. But obviously, it brings the coins into it with what your mum had told you.
That's right.
So it's more of a
just letting you know I'm here.
Yeah. That is a cool story. Did it not freak you out at all?
Do you know what the funny thing is? Like when I was young, I used to be really scared of all this stuff.
Yeah, same.
Now I don't. Like I was watching a lot of paranormal investigators on TikTok and that. And actually one of them reached out to me. He's no longer on TikTok anymore. And this guy was an ex-biker and everything like that. And I'm like, this is a really cool idea. We can do a podcast together. Because he reached out to me and said, I want to do the have a comedian on as a host and everything as well. I'm like, this is amazing. We've got biker, we've got paranormal, and we've got comedy. A great concept. But it just never eventuated, sadly.
Oh.
Watching all these guys, like I went out, I bought myself an EMF reader, I bought some cat balls, and one night at my house, I was
I'm the cat ball lady.
She's known when I first interviewed Nicole, she was known as a cat ball lady before she come on co-hosting. So when everyone say cat balls, it's
so I had an EMF reader and Nicole, and what I did was I set it up in my lounge room. So I had the EMF reader on the windowsill, so there's no electrical anything near it. And then I had the cat ball sat on the floor, and they're timber floorboards, nothing around it. And I had my wife and one of my close mates just sat there. There we go. That's a cat ball for anyone that doesn't know. And what happened was the EMF reader started lighting up. And so I just very calmly started talking to it. And I also had Spirit Talker on my phone as well. So we're getting, words coming through and everything like that. And so I would ask a question and the EMF reader would light up. And then I'd just calmly thank it and say, okay, you can stop that now. And can we communicate through this EMF reader? And, if I say a question, if it's for yes, light it up. If it's a no, just leave it off, as most people usually do. Yeah. But I thought I'd probably be a little bit more freaked out when the EMF reader was going off when I was asking it. The cat ball then would go off when I was asking it. My wife then left the room because she was panicked. She's like, I got to get out of here. This is too much for me. And my best mate, he didn't know how to react to this either. And it lasted for about half an hour. And so I asked questions that I kind of knew some of the answers to as well. So my house, this was old farmland, so I asked, was it, is this farmland, were you on this farmland before this house was there? And it would light up. And then I'd say, thank you very much. Can you stop that now? Now we communicated for half an hour before it just stopped and never happened, didn't happen again that day. But the question I asked, do you know who I am? And do you know that I'm the owner of this house and all this stuff? And it was really amazing, the communication that we had. The funny part to this was in that room that I did it in, it was our lounge room. And we used to have a wall there that partitioned it off from the living area in the kitchen. And we knocked that wall down to open it up to make it more like free living. Yeah. Now, the builder who was doing it for me and him used to have great chats in the morning. I'd make him a coffee and we'd have a laugh. And I was telling him about this experience that I'd done this EMF reader there. But since he'd started knocking down that wall, I could no longer get any activity on the EMF reader. And one of the things I put it down to was that we, sometimes the energy or something could manifest in the walls or the timber that's there from previous owners or anything like that. And now that we're disturbing that space, that energy now has gone. And as I'm telling this, I had the EMF reader on, and then the builder said to me, maybe this is like a burial land. And boom, the EMF reader went straight up to red. And I was like, that hasn't been able to do anything till you said that. And then it stopped again. And then it went again when he said something else. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Imagine, and I didn't say this to him because then the comedian side comes out in me. I'm like, I reckon it's manifest itself to him now and it's going to haunt him. And that was like a little bit of fun for me that he's taken that away from my house and it's on him now.
So you're nice and chilled and everything. And he's,
yeah, I didn't even need to say it.
He's sat in a chair panicking 24/7.
Yeah, he's in a mental institution now. Yeah.
Can't cope.
And we will investigate him because we love investigating in mental institutions.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But look, I definitely want to get out and do more. So one of the guys I ran into, he's one of the managers at Foot Locker, which is a sneaker store here.
Yeah.
And I just got talking to him, and he runs paranormal investigations at Geelong Jail, which is closed down. So I had a disc replacement surgery in my neck in May. So I've laid low for the last 6 months with this because I can only do a certain amount of things. I can't be standing up for long periods of time and everything like that.
Yeah.
But as next year in January, February, the first thing I want to do is get out and do an investigation in this jail. And I'm going to live stream the lot. I'll record it. I'll film it, and hopefully get some really cool stuff. Yeah.
Can I just say, I watched on the video of the one in the shoe shop that I've got where my partner's son was the manager there. So the shop, because this will bring in then to what happened at your place of work, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So this is in the shopping complex. It's all locked up. Yeah. This is after, so it's inside. You can see someone walk past in one of the mirrors, but security going around making sure everywhere's locked up. And so you've got office. I don't know if you have office in the US or Australia. It's all trainers and Doc Martens and boots and Uggs and all that kind of stuff. Then you've got super dry on one side. I think it's a nail or a hairdresser's or something on the other. So this is a video. I'll play it now. So as you watch that, that first shoe, it twists. The heel twists. Yeah. Something down, hits another shoe and then bounces halfway across the shop. But they said people that are working there, my missus, she worked there for a few months when she worked in a pharmacy, but in between swapping over. And they said they always felt like there's something there, like watching them, or like they turn around thinking there's a customer there and there's nobody there, just in one part of the shop. And it's just weird little things like that. It's like, I need to go and investigate.
That's amazing.
The shopping complex, you can't get in. Yeah. It's owned by the bigger company, and there's no access to the individual shop without going into there. So it's a bit of a ball ache. But
you've almost got to hide it until everyone.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking, but apparently I'm not allowed. I did put that forward. So you can't do that. I went, if I don't get caught, who's going to know?
That's it. Right. I wonder if you could go during the day though, like while the store's open, and just not tell me what you're doing. Oh, you have?
Yeah. So I'll play it again just to show you something. One sec.
Yeah.
So you see where them flat. So you got the shoe rack on the left, on the opposite side of the wall. You've got them like padded seats. So I normally sit there, and I just like when we're in there, I'll just sit there and look around, see if I can feel anything and all that, but nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
It's interesting, isn't it? You know, like and the video that you're talking about that I had, so I own a massage clinic, and I've got staff and everything that work for me, and sometimes they leave the split systems on. It happens, you know. But I'd gone in there with one of my friends, and after we'd finished, I'd locked up everything, and we'd gone for dinner next door. And then we're walking back to the car, so we had to walk back past the front and then the side of the clinic. And there's trees there, and the split systems, when they're on, they blow out the air. And so all the leaves were moving from like this gust of air that was just being pushed out. And we both looked at it and we both said at the exact same time, the split system's been left on.
Yeah.
And then as we're walking, it stopped. And he's like, oh, it's turned itself off. I'm like, these split systems don't turn themselves off or on. It's all manually by control. They're not on a thermostat. They're not on anything like that. So I opened back up the clinic, went inside to double check, see whether, because when the staff finish, sometimes they just close the door and you don't know that the split system's on. So I opened up all the rooms, everything, checked every single one, and there wasn't one of them that was on.
Nothing. Have you ever been in and anything's been moved? Like, it's been put in a specific place?
So when I first started there, so I've had the clinic for 11 years. When I first started, it was just me there. And so I would hear like doors open and close. There would be stuff that would happen. I wouldn't say that I would know that would move, but now that there's, 12 of us there, so we've got receptionists, we've got staff, everything like that, it'd be too hard to know if things got moved or not. But a lot of the activity that I noticed that was going on earlier stopped when I started having more people there. I didn't notice it as much. So, yeah.
Well, a lot of activity happens too when changes are being made to a property. So if you're going in and you're renovating, or a new company is coming to a space, the spirits there kind of come out and see what's going on and let you know, like, hey, we're here. This is our space.
Yeah, that's right.
That might have to do with it too.
Yeah. And I was just like, no, it's not. It's mine now.
Have you ever thought of going in there? Just going in there at night, just sitting in the corner with like a night vision camera or just whatever equipment you're going to use, just sit there and see if anything comes to you?
Well, the thing that I worry about is like manifesting these things into a space, and it's like the place I get income from. So I'm like, am I then going to like create this bad energy in this environment and start, so that's one of the things I would definitely go in there if I had someone. So if someone's listening to this, watching it from Melbourne, and they want to come in with me and they can help me cleanse it and everything afterwards properly, I'd be more than happy to do that. Yeah. Excellent. Letting strangers in. Yeah. To do.
How far from New South Wales are you? Because I don't know the layout of Australia whatsoever.
Well, look, depending on where they are, it's probably at least 8 hours.
I was thinking George Mitrovic could send him over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do this like by proxy here. We're gonna have to do a live, and you're gonna have to do things. We're gonna be like, okay, now you got to do this. Now you got to do this.
That's it. Yeah.
We do have a question from Nick. What is your preferred method of showing yourself? YouTube, Instagram, or live?
OnlyFans. I can just be more natural. Like clothes. I hate wearing clothes. I'm actually wearing my mate's brand here, Thrill Therapy. But my favorite place of showing myself, probably at the moment, TikTok is the number one place that I put a lot of my stuff. The way I sort of advertise myself is Instagram is more where you're going to see where I'm posting, what shows I'm at, where I'm going to be. Whereas TikTok, I'm having more fun. I'm being silly. The algorithm's crazy because it's like, you'll post a video that you really think is going to do well and it gets like 200 views. And then you do something that's just nonsense that's got nothing to do with you and it gets like 80,000 views. So it's just bizarre. But I like that I'm learning about it too. I'm trying to learn. I was doing a podcast on YouTube. It was called Trapanischoice, where I was interviewing a lot of comedians and everything. I will be getting that up and running again soon. It's just that like COVID, all that sort of stuff affected everything. So it's just sort of navigating through that time and now starting it back up again.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. So, we've got another, it's not a question, it's more of a statement from Elaine, moderator. She's saying, I don't even know what one of these are, so someone might have to explain. So get a dead bell.
Nick,
I reckon they're great.
I did explain that my mum is my receptionist, so I don't know. I've got a dead bell. Yeah. I don't know what a dead bell is. She could be the dead bell.
It's like a REM pod, but
okay.
It's one of those those receptionist kind of bells that you
Oh,
ding
the
for
big
service.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
like a REM pod, and you
Oh.
put it out, and the spirits ding. But it's set
Oh,
off
so
like
that would be.
Oh, so it's
How cool
like,
would that be? Yeah.
they're really cool.
yes. I think stuff like that, I think, is going to be better now to use than all this different tech that's coming out. Because
Yeah.
there's so much technology and there's so many different radio waves and sound waves that they're all running off. It's just going to be a mass confusion for whatever it is you're trying to communicate with. Because I've gone from using all these different like digital EMF meters, voice recorders, UV torches, IR lights, and all that. I've just gone dowsing rods, pendulum, and I'm going to get a ding ding bell.
Yeah. Well, it's
No,
a
I like
manual thing that you can't manipulate either. You
Yeah.
know, so when you've got any of these technologies or you're using devices that anything can interfere with it, like even an EMF reader, you can't guarantee that something hasn't affected that EMF reader.
Yeah.
You know, there's always doubt. Whereas, like one of those bells, like you literally have to touch it. They're not going off unless someone's touching it.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, this one, the dead bell is electronic. It's like a REM pod. So you go up to it and
Oh.
I'm talking about the old ones. Yeah.
No, well, you've got to like,
yeah.
yeah.
I've got one of those. I'm going to put it out and see if it can touch it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, I love going in places where they've got one of them on the counter. So I'm one of those. I'll go in and
You're one of those.
whether I'm getting something or not, and if you say I'm just checking it works.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if
it's there.
Good time of year for it, but do you remember the Christmas movie It's a Wonderful Life?
Mhm.
Have you seen that? Well, one of the things in it, they say that every time a bell rings, an angel loses its wings. And so I'm just like, yeah, I'm tapping that bell, just making all the angels lose their wings.
All right.
Yeah, Appy Dev is a really good equipment maker, and they're based out of the UK and makes custom ones.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah. Happy Dev. Right. I need to write this down. Right.
Frankie actually has their version of the dead bell.
Oh, does it?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Right. Question again for Nick. Have you got any plans of doing anything out of Australia? So like coming to Europe, America?
Yeah, look, so I do host the New Year's Eve Gala in Bali, and I have done some shows over there. I definitely plan next year to come to or go to America. That's definitely on the cards. I've got some good contacts there, and I would love to come to the UK as well. So there's some things on the cards. You know, comedy's such a hard industry, and it's who you know and what you know. You know, so I'm pushing so hard forward with being able to tour everywhere and doing everything that I want. It just takes time, and you've got to be patient and do the right things. But I think America is one thing that I want to see if my comedy relates well there. You know, if I can just get up on stage, because sometimes it's hard for Australians to go to America and do comedy, but I believe that what I do is relatable to everyone. You know, I don't really talk about anything that's, you know, political or, you know, a topic that's happening right now, or, you know, I try and leave that stuff out. So the stuff I talk about is relevant to everyone. So definitely the America is somewhere I want to go.
Yeah. But
if you go to the Northeast, because then I will come to your show and I will bring a ton of people. So
well, I'm staying at your place, so yeah.
Yeah. But I was just going to say,
so
you know, Dennis Leary.
Yes.
So have you watched when he did one called Stand Up for Cancer back in the, I think, 90s, 2000s? That was very dark and over the line and what have you. And then it kind of went from him. I've still got it on DVD somewhere. It kind of went from then. It started to go down, and it's like it seemed that a lot of those comedians around that time kind of sold themselves out.
Yeah.
Because he was doing the voiceovers for different Disney movies and what have you. So
yeah, and just know that if like someone was paying me millions of dollars, I'd sell out. straight away. I'd go, so PC, it's not funny. I'd just drop everything. So if anyone wants to buy me, I'm available, So, but no, look, I think that's the thing. You got to stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
You got to like, as I said, like I've been coming out of my shell more and more in terms of the material and the topics that I'm talking about, and not listening to anyone else. Like, if you're not going to let me in that room because what I say is a little bit offensive, well, I'm not going to that room. That's fine. I'm going to start producing all my own shows, doing all my own stuff. And speaking of just staying at people's houses, one thing that I don't know if you guys know who the Krusty Demons are. They're a group from America. So in the 90s, they were really huge. They FMX bikes. They used to ride on the sand dunes and do all this crazy stuff. There was a guy, Seth Enslow, and he was like my favorite. Like when I was that age, they'd put all like punk and metal music to the backing tracks of this stuff. And so all of last year and a little bit of the year before, I was actually on tour with these guys all around Australia, and I would host their shows. And the first time I met Seth Enslow was actually, he came into my radio station. And so I'm sitting next to this guy who like I idolized as a kid. And he's like, oh yeah, man, when you come over to the States, just stay in Orange County in my house. And I was like, what? Like, I'm used to watching you on, these DVDs and everything. Next thing you're saying, come stay at my house. It was just wild, like some of the things that you get. Yeah.
You never know who you're going to meet. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. And one day someone will say, Nick said that I could stay at his place. And they'll feel But I won't meet
Andy.
Well, I've got a list of people that said when I go over to America, I can meet up with them. So when they say meet up with them, that means I can stay at their house while I'm in that part of the US.
Yeah, we'll go together.
They'll all be there. They'll all be start moving out now and moving to different states.
So we're all going to Gettysburg.
Yes.
Next July. So
July.
What are we saying? Just in Gettysburg.
Yeah. So I've got 3, possibly 4 visits so far to the US next year. I don't even know how I'm going to fit it all in. Got Florida in July. Gettysburg end of July. I just need to be really ill at work, go to Gettysburg and then get better and come back. Just hope no one at work's listening.
You look sick to me. Yeah. You look like you're sick.
I feel like I need a 4-week vacation in America. That's what it feels like.
Stress leave.
Yeah. And then Massachusetts to meet up with a couple of people to do some investigating. And what was the other one? I can't remember. There's another one somewhere, but I forgot.
I don't know.
No, it's gone. But so these that. Yeah, so we've got different conferences going on next year. So we was going to arrange to meet up in Gettysburg, and we spoke. A lot of the guests that have been coming on said, "I'll go Gettysburg." Yeah. There's like 400 people on meeting up in Gettysburg.
I need to get like a commission from this convention, man.
Well, it's not even for the convention. We're just going to meet up in a coffee shop or something and just stay there.
There we go.
Yeah, so I'm just checking the time because we're nearly an hour. So it's 9:30 UK time. So I'm guessing that's 8:30 your time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just going to do that. So August said when you've got when you go out investigating, if you're going to film it live and what have you, if you want to send it across to me and I can put it out as well, and Nicole can do it, and we'll just share the hell out of it.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah, especially if you're going live on like TikTok or something. I'll be in there tapping those likes. That's how I met. Actually,
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, he came into my live investigation when we were at the columns. And we were chatting.
Well, I've just come off TikTok and I can't even close my account because I'm connected to the TikTok shop. Not that I've ever used it or know how to disconnect. I don't even know how we're connected to it. But it's TikTok's doing me head in at the minute. It's just too much of the same thing. No offense to anyone here. I don't mean that, but there's a lot of things that it's the same thing, but different people. So I've deleted it off my phone. I've still got my account and that, but I've just deleted it off my phone and just moved away and I'll give it a few months and then see what it's like.
People just create fake drama on there, and that's what's getting the views. You know, in Australia, that's a big thing. People just arguing with people. So anytime I do a live, which is very rarely, I just try and keep it positive. Chat like we're chatting now. Just for, you know, positive vibes. You know, if anyone comes in and starts causing trouble, they're just, you know, they move on pretty quick because you just don't entertain it. You know, like to me, the fake drama, the arguing, you're right. It's just too much of a headache. I don't have time for that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. So that's just reminded me of that video you sent me, because you said about something about social media. That's James, and he went, I thought it was Grinder. I can't remember the exact thing. But if anyone has not watched the video, it is in the links. So I've got your Instagram link, YouTube link, TikTok link, and then there's a link for the video. You say it's like 12 minutes long or something?
So that one, you can only watch that one with the link. That one's on private.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. Am I all right putting it on? I didn't realize it was private.
Not at this stage. I'll let you put it on a little bit later. Some of that stuff I'm still using. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I should take it off then. Sorry. I didn't realize.
That's all right. That's all right.
So don't go and watch that, because
it will. So what I'll do shortly is I will put that link up, and I'll also put, as I said, I recorded my festival show, and that will be released as well. That's called Narcissist. So you'll be able to see a lot more of that stuff eventually. Yeah.
Right. That has now gone. That link has been removed.
That's right. If you got to watch it, you got to see something that no one else has got to see.
Yeah. So
now we feel
sorry
special.
about
that. That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah. So we're going to let you go, because obviously you've got this 5-hour drive, but you are more than welcome to come back on at any time.
Thank you.
Like you said, we could do paranormal, non-paranormal, comedy, whatever you want. Absolutely.
Whatever nonsense.
Yeah, more than happy to. Thank you guys for having me on. It's been a pleasure, and what you do is great. You know, like I checked out some of your previous podcasts and everything like that about Bigfoot and everything. Like, I'm loving what you guys are doing. So,
thank you.
You know, keep doing what you're doing, and I really appreciate you having me on. And I'd love to come back sometime.
Yeah, definitely. Get you back on.
Break a leg with your show. I don't know if you're supposed to say good luck in Australia. You're not supposed to.
Yeah. Don't break any limbs.
Yeah, I'll break someone else's maybe.
That's all right. Right. So have a safe journey.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing some more of your material soon. And I'll speak to you in the next couple of weeks.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks,
all
guys.
Right. Cheers, Nick. See you soon. Bye-bye. Right. So we're going to go on a quick break. Then I've got a bit of an update from that thing that I seen last week. So I drove past there again today, and I stopped and I took some photos, so you can get a visual image of what I seen and what was there or what wasn't there, and it might give you a better view as to exactly what it is I'm talking about. So let's do 2-minute break.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And we'll see you then. So get ready for more questions.
both made it back.
So, yes, I did. Even me, well, I did. I had a drink, but that was it. Right. So, but do you want to see the photos of this area where I was at? Let me find them. So, weather was a bit crap today as well. So, I wasn't driving. It looks like I was, but it's just I parked up in the van with my hazards on, and then I just took the photos. So, I'm going to do it in order, so you get a good perspective. So, the same direction as what I was traveling last week.
Okay.
So you see the bushes that are all like the proper prickly bushes, and then to the end where you can see the car on the road and the car with the front bit sticking out. So that's the entrance into the tower house. Yeah. So where I seen the person crossing the road was, so you see where the bushes stop and the fence starts. It was probably about 5 to 10 foot at the fence, so just past the bushes. So this is the next. Sorry, I didn't move the microphone. This is the next image. So you can see there's no gap in the bushes. There's trees, and then you can see there's a fence behind it. Where the bushes stop is the start of the fencing that goes around the tower house. Yeah. So there is no way that anyone could have vanished, got through that fence, and have had to climb over or climb under. And that's just a zoomed in version of the same one. See what I mean? There's no gap there where them trees are. You cannot. A deer or a dog or something would struggle getting into that gap, let alone a person. And that fence is probably about 6.5, 7 foot high, and then that's it, like the full length. So where you can see my front windscreen and where the wiper is, can you see the reflection of the air vent on the glass? So where that is roughly where that little marker is on the grass. That is roughly where the person is that was walked across. So if you look at where my wiper is, and you can see where it's connected to the arm, can you see that bit just like in the middle of the dash? That's roughly where the person was. There's like in the middle of the road going from left to right. Now I thought, oh, it could have been that sign, but that sign hasn't got black trousers on or a hair or anything, so it couldn't have been the sign. And it's behind the bushes, so it's not even close. I thought, oh, you know when I said it looked like there was a sign there for sale sign somewhere. But if you look on the other side, it's telling you about the football club that's behind. That's where them bushes are. So it's like amateur rugby football club. So there's no way. I don't know who or what. Yeah, there's nowhere to go. And where that car's sticking out, that's a driveway into that house. And then they've got an electric gate just at the back of that. So regardless of whether that was open or not, wouldn't make any difference for that person to vanish. And on the left-hand side, it's just fields. That goes all the way across pretty much to where I live. So, and there's lakes and ponds and fields and woods and all sorts in there. So,
very weird.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know. But you should get out next time you go past it and try to like push on all the fence and see if like they know about like a loose
get arrested. Well, there's a sign. I'm sure that says CCTV or electric or something.
If they ask what you're doing, you're just inspecting the fence for their safety.
Yeah, I'll zoom in on this now, see if you can see it. Warning: CCTV in operation is what it says. Something like that.
And you know what? You need to knock on their door and be like, "Can I see the CCTV footage from this time?" Because I'm pretty sure one scared.
Yeah, they may have picked it up. Didn't even think of that.
You never know. They might totally be into it. Be like, "Hey, I saw a person cross the road and disappear into your fence."
Could be. Yeah. So that's photos from today, which happened last Wednesday. So that's right. Cool. There was a crash out the back, and they closed the road. And about 4 o'clock today, and it's been shut since. And I've just seen a breakdown vehicle. I could see it look like there's a car on its roof, and it's just coming up now. So they've only just opening it. That was like,
I hope everyone was okay.
I've not heard anything. It was down the other end, but you could just see as it come around the top end. So,
do you know how many places we go that we get spirits of like people who had car accidents like outside the building?
Really? Ah, never thought of that.
I don't know why. They just kind of like wander in when we're doing investigations. A lot of car crashes.
Right. So we was going to talk about the UAPs in New Jersey. Now, I seen a post on Facebook from Steve Mera. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to get a shot of it. I'll see if it's still on here. No, it's gone. It's refreshed. Basically saying that thing that's like 3 things going across the sky like that is digital creation. It's an overlay onto the actual video or something.
Because these drones in New Jersey, they're spreading now. So they're in New York, they're in Connecticut, they're in Maryland. So it's not just limited to Jersey.
They're coming out the ocean. Or they're coming out the sea.
And they're flying over military installations.
Yeah.
And I don't know, thousands of drones and unmanned aerial systems are flying above us. And our government is not telling us who's operating them and for what purpose.
Because they probably don't know. And like I said the other day, and this is all because of Elaine, what if they're leaving? What if they're not coming to see what we're doing? What if they're coming up and they're leaving Earth for whatever reason?
I don't know. That could be true. So the Secret Service confirmed it doesn't have any drones operating in the area. The FBI is calling for people to like come forward with any information. So it's not an FBI thing. It might be other organizations.
Are they saying, "Oh, it's not us. Let's put this out and pretend"? It's possible. So like,
because the fact that they haven't shot them down. They haven't shot any down.
Oh no, one got shot. Something happened to one. It's like a fireball that come crash into the ground. I was speaking to Darren this afternoon about it, baby with a laser.
Yeah.
So there's some lads in a basketball court, and by the time he got his phone out, it was like a fireball coming to the ground.
I haven't seen anything about one.
I've not seen it unless Darren was making it up and trying to make me look stupid tonight. Possible.
I'm looking to see if there's any first responders are instructed to wear hazmat suits if drones should fall from the sky. The New Jersey mayor has instructed them to wear hazmat suits. What is going on?
Right, I'm not being funny. What if you're walking down the street and you've not got your hazmat suit and then it's falling from the sky? Yeah, I'll just stop a minute. I've got to go and get my PPE on, and then you can carry on falling.
So the New Jersey mayor directed local officials to wear hazmat suits and call the bomb squad if one of the mysterious drones falls out of the sky.
But there's a thing to say, because at first he said they was coming from Iran, around that area. And now they've done a press report that they are not coming from China, Russia, or Iran, but they're coming up out the ocean. So are they just saying that to cause fear?
Okay, 3 hours ago, as of 3 hours ago, the New York Post posted, drone crashes into New Jersey homeowner's backyard.
Right.
An aircraft smashed down in a residential area of this town in Morris County. Oh, I do things in Morris County. I know where that is. Around 8:45 p.m. on Thursday.
Yeah.
They determined it was a hobby or toy type drone and not a large commercial or military drone. That was anticlimactic. I thought we were going to get some good information.
That's right. I'm just looking now. No one seems to know. Yeah. In Morris County, in Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, they were indeed drones. A senior official briefed on the drone footage told by NBC News. So,
say, what if rather than come here and show themselves and risk getting shot down, they're doing digital imaging to get people to admit they're here?
Possibly, because this is like Operation, Project Blue Beam, Blue Book. Oh, I always get the two mixed up. So, what if it's a projection? But then, as well, with drones, what if they're sending drones so that if they do get shot down, nothing bad is happening to these ETs. They're not getting killed or dying or being taken into labs and being cut open and have experiments done on them. There could be a million reasons.
I know, but it's just crazy that they're not saying anything.
Yeah, but then you've got the other thing of I can't remember what they call it, and I'll never ever remember it. And I know Darren knows what it is. It's like create a problem, go in and, oh my God, this has gone on, that's gone on, and then find a solution to the problem and fix it.
A false flag operation. That's what it's called. Oh, Frankie lives at the Jersey Shore, and he said he stopped seeing them, but they were all over the coastline.
Oh. But could it have been some drone aerial display going on? Not military, but like a private. Because I was watching one on Facebook last night where they had 5,000 drones and they went up and they created what like a giant Santa with sleighs and the reindeers and that in the sky. You know what I mean?
But they're not doing anything cool and nobody knows what they are. Like, I feel like somebody would have said, like, hey, these are our drones.
Don't know.
Don't know.
Do you get rogue drones? Star Wars? I don't know.
You know, we don't have to have drone operating licenses over here, so.
Yeah. That's so it. Problem, reaction, solution. They cause a problem, they get a reaction, they go in and solve it. And it makes them look good, yet they created all of it.
Yeah. And they distract from whatever's really going on.
Yes.
The
Hegelian dialect. The Hegelian dialect. I don't know. I can't read tonight.
The Hegelian dialect. The method of argument and way of thinking that describes how ideas change through internal contradictions and resolve into concrete forms.
Yep.
That's what that is.
They're basically lying to us.
Mm-hmm. Frankie said it was the aliens filming the reality show ever. They turned around a wheel. Yeah, they got enough footage for like 3 seasons if they came down during election season over here.
Wow. Yeah. It's just the government aren't telling us because I don't think they know.
No. I think somebody has to know.
But oh my God. No point in droning on about it. Oh dear. I thought Nick had gone. Didn't know he'd come in the chat.
Nick was great though. He's so funny.
Oh, he is. He was telling me stuff before we went on air, and it's like, I wish you could use that. But definitely getting back on again.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't. With these drones, I don't know. Could it be someone just messing about? Musk. Could it be Elon Musk?
Elon Musk just playing a prank on everybody?
Why not? Well, he's been doing it for the last 10 years, hasn't he? Why stop now?
Rename it X. Even though nobody's going to call it X, they're still going to call it Twitter.
Exactly. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. What do you guys in the chat think? What do you think it could all be? Are we being spied on? Is it different countries? Is it otherworldly beings? But they're all been, well, not all of them, but a lot of them have been seen coming out the out the waters. Come on, guys, give us your thoughts. I don't know, but
I don't know. Oh, Fred said U.S. military.
Yeah, but then I'm thinking, if it is, why are they all kicking off about it? Other than problem, solution,
because
reaction, whatever.
Or, this hand doesn't know what that hand's doing.
Yeah, because haven't the FBI come forward? Did you just say that the FBI's come forward and they're like, yeah, if you see anything, let us know. Sorry, I just remembered talking about it this afternoon. I'm not with it. Yeah, scare factor, scaremongering.
Yep. Distraction from something else that's going on. I feel like every time there's something going on in like government wise.
All right. Tommy's just sent me his picture of Krampus.
Oh boy.
Oh dear.
Oh boy. I can't wait to see all these pictures.
Well, I know 2 people in the chat are stressing about doing it. One of them can't even. He says he can't sleep because he's that stressed about having to do. He didn't realise that. He didn't realise that just watching this show and like going in the chat with the comments that he'd have to do homework every so often.
Yeah, we give homework.
Yes, it's only once a year.
I'm just not working on mine. I haven't worked
But
on
I've got another thing that we're going to be doing on the Christmas special as well. So,
are you going to tell us or
no?
a secret thing?
So we're going to try and do that thing again where we think of something on air, and then the other 2 and people in the chat try and guess exactly what it is without saying or doing anything. So I'll just say it's a place or it's a building. Do you know what I mean? Or whoever, and then just go from there. So yes,
yeah, it's gonna be fun. And then we have the other thing that we're working on.
Yes, so I did put a poll up in the chat, and it's 50-50. Yeah, so we can talk about it, but without giving it away.
Yeah,
I'm clever like that now. Would you be interested in a virtual conference, but only be available to YouTube members and Patreon members? That way, as you go to a normal conference, you'd pay for a ticket to go and watch the guests. So there'd be guests coming on. It wouldn't just be us 2 like sat here now chatting a load of waffle. We'd have guests. So what they'd do, they'd come on, we'd introduce them.
They do a lecture.
Yeah, so they do a lecture. So they go on the screen, we come off the screen. That for first 45 minutes, they'll do 30 to 45 minutes, they'll talk about whatever it is they're talking about. Then the last 15, 20 minutes, we'll come back on and we'll put the questions up from you guys in the chat. And then we do that every hour for 10 hours. So you get 10 guests over that time period. But there's a certain way of how we're going to do it, what we spoke about earlier on today. So we're not going to go into that. So would you guys be willing to, it wouldn't just, I'm thinking about it, we could do it without being members only. If they was to do super chat or anything like that from a specific amount, it wouldn't be a lot, it'd be like say £5 or $5 or whatever. If they pay that, then they get to watch it as well.
You can do it on Patreon too.
Yeah, so Do it on
Like-
Patreon. Yeah. So I'd put the link on Patreon for paying members on Patreon, and then I can send the link out to people if they was going to donate. So we're going to be sorting that out for early next year. And then there's going to, like I said, hopefully we're going to have 10 guests on talking about covering all different topics, and they're just going to come on and talk. We're not going to be asking questions. We're not even going to be on screen. And then we'll just put stuff up as they're talking. And then after the 30 minutes, 45 minutes, depending on how long they want to talk for, then we'll jump back on and ask them the questions. And that's it. So, no, they're not my camera over them. I got sorry, I'm just messing with that. It's a squidgy pug. Do you know, a stress ball thing?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. So,
Is the plural of Krampus Krampi?
no,
Krampuses?
just Krampus,
Krampus.
Krampu. I don't know. It's Austrian, isn't it? So I couldn't tell you. And they speak German.
Can you have a plural of Krampus? Oh, okay. I'm not gonna say that. Hold on. I'm gonna put it in the chat because I'm not going to repeat it.
Oh,
This is official from Google.
Krampus. We'll go with Krampus. Yeah.
Yeah.
May as well use the C word while we're at it. Oh.
That's what Google says the plural of Krampus is.
Yep. Oh, well.
Krampus.
Yeah, Krampus. There you go. German. Right. So, yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So if you would like us to do... Well, we're going to do it anyway, but I just wanted to get general idea of people that would be interested. It would be on a weekday. So we'd be starting round about... This is where you're going to hate me now. 8 a.m. UK time, which is 3 a.m. New York
You want me to
time.
start this thing at 3 a.m.?
Yeah, but then you're finishing at 3 p.m.
Are you nuts?
You're finishing at 1 p.m. where I'm finishing at 6 p.m. Can we get rid of the time zone? Can we get rid of the time zone?
U.S., man.
Yeah. No, we could do it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. It's going to be during the day, and it's going to be a weekday. So, yeah. And we'll just, first one, so we'll see how it goes. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I can't see why it won't.
I want to know what Ross Gilbert's feeling about Gettysburg is.
Yes, I did question mark it, but he didn't get back to me. I don't know if he realised. Yes, I could move to New Jersey.
You could. Then we could go investigating all the time.
I know. And just get crossbows in. Cause do you need a license for a crossbow in America? Well, I just get a crossbow and just shoot drones out of the sky.
I think
that'd be my job.
Shotgun you can get without a license. You have to have like a license for like pistols and stuff. I think you can have a shotgun. Like you can just walk into like a Walmart and buy it.
You can't even get anything in the UK. To get a firearms license, you got to go through the police, and you have to have a certain criteria. And it's just, I know people that have got them, but one of them, they're all like work for emergency services, so like police, fire department, all that kind of stuff.
He responded. Sorry, no. Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
Generalization.
Definitely see things on that battlefield.
Yes, but tomorrow, tomorrow going to a old RAF base, weather permitting, where a bomber crashed. Did I tell you this the other day?
No.
Was supposed to be going to Cannock Chase, but I got the wrong day anyway, and it was next weekend. but Ben who was doing it is he's having to work, so we're unable to do it. So anyway, tomorrow we're not going to Gettysburg, going to this old RAF base where you've got the bunkers, and there's been soldiers that have been seen, voices, EVPs, disembodied, kids' voices, loads of different stuff going on. So I was going to take the drone, do an overhead. It's got FPV, first person view, so you can click on that and it does like a full aerial shot of everything. So it's good. And you know, on Wednesday when I on air when we was live, and I was booking that Friday off to go to the conference with what Daniel's doing, I've actually got that Friday off and I've booked my ticket. So I'm doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Nice.
It's a 3-hour drive, so I wasn't doing like 8 hours driving at work, come home and do another 3 hours driving down there. And I've already got my hotel. I'm going to sleep in my car for 2 nights.
Very good. I took the day off to go to the cryptid conference in August in Pennsylvania to see.
See, why can't we have cryptids in the UK?
You have cryptids.
So I know. But do you know what? I thought, because I was thinking about booking a hotel and that, and I thought, no, because while I'm down there, I'm going to go out and investigate. There's a woods down there, and there's a couple of like old, not medieval places, but it's all very, very rural down that area, around that part of the country, because it's just north of like Devon and Cornwall. It's like you can go over the bridge and go into South Wales over the River Severn. So I thought, do you know what? There's no point getting a hotel. I'll just go out, do a bit of investigating, have a walk about, go back to the car and just sleep in the car. I'll get up, have a wash. Only 2 nights. It's not like camping, isn't it?
It's not like camping. It's like sleeping in your car in the woods, like a homeless person.
Homeless person won't have a car. There's a difference.
People can have a car. That is a stereotype.
Oh yeah, no, because they'd be careless then, and that's a different type of person. Yeah, I apologise.
I want to know if you're going to make a video of it all.
I'm going to do some filming. Yeah. So as I said the other night, I was going to do any filming that I was going to do. I was going to put it on a separate channel, but I'm not. I'm going to put it on this channel under investigating on the podcast, and it's just all going to be pre-recorded. I'm not going to do any live investigations anymore. It's just but when you do the live ones, they're too long, they get boring, and it's like just about as you're going to finish, you kind of think you're going to get something, so you don't want to finish. So I think if you just go around recording, go through the footage, put it together, and then see what everyone else thinks, and then I'm just going to do that. I've got everything set up to do it, so it's easy enough to do now. Yeah, so I've got that.
Is that all our updates?
I'm going to be doing a website next year.
Another one?
Yeah. Well, I was looking at the domains that I've got. Yeah. And there's 2 of them that I'm getting rid of that I'm not going to use. And it came up on one of them that I've got a free website, but I've never set it up. So I'm just I've not done anything, but I didn't have any reason to set one up. But with everything that I've got going on next year, I'm going to use it a bit like a blogging site as well. And not just for loading stuff up from YouTube. I'm going to use it as more of like other different things. I don't want to give too much away at the moment. Yeah. So, a new website will be coming in 2025. Ear encounters is going to be every 2 weeks. That's getting pushed back another week. It's going to be probably February now, just because of guests to come on a Wednesday, because you can't do any other day. Not my fault. Don't blame me. It's just how it is. Yeah. Oh, And I've got alienate.uk domain.
Mm-hmm.
I've now bought that up until 2028. But I'll explain to you why after we come off air. And it's a good reason behind it. So yeah.
Secrets.
It's all looking good. Secrets. Yeah. That's it. I don't think we've got anything else.
No, I don't think
You
so.
got anything?
Nope.
No. So next week's guest, we've got Dante Therese coming on Monday. She is a fiction author. So she's going to be coming on talking about some of her books. Then we've got Wild Bill on the 18th. Hopefully he's going to dress as Santa. More chance of him doing it if I actually ask him than just guess that he's going to do
And
it.
just assuming he's gonna dress as Santa.
Yeah.
Why would you just assume somebody will dress as Santa?
It might. Hey, manifestation. It might happen.
All right, let's just try that. We're gonna manifest Wild Bill as Santa.
Yeah. No one contact him.
Yeah, nobody tell him.
Yeah.
We're gonna see if we can put this in his brain.
Yes. Oh, and on Friday we have Halloween, Christmas.
Yeah, Halloween special.
Halloween special.
Our Nightmare Before Christmas special.
And I bought my tipple for the evening.
Ooh. I'm not gonna whip out my bar again. It's still there.
So
You
that's
see it
I only bought this yesterday, and it's not even open yet. So I might have a couple over the weekend, and that just means I'll have to go out and buy another bottle just in case. So is
everybody
anyone
get
out?
your drawings in.
Yes, get your drawings in. You've got until
your
12 midday UK time next Friday, which is 7 a.m. New York time, EST. So Tommy sent one. I'll show you in a minute. Not showing anyone else. Says Tommy's getting his kids and his missus to draw him as well. So he's sending a few in.
I was thinking about it. Thinking about getting the kids to do it.
Yeah, can do. Get whoever you want. I've put it on Facebook. I've put it on Instagram. The more we get in,
the funnier it'll be.
The better. But you will have, as Nick was saying before, you do have to have a good sense of humour because there's going to be a lot of dark humour involved. And as long as you don't get easily offended, then you'll be fine.
Favorite kind of humor is dark humor.
And I'm going to have a disclaimer at the bottom. This is for entertainment purposes only, so no one can sue me.
Don't claim to be a doctor.
Yeah. I don't know. I have been tempted a few times. But yeah, that's it. I haven't got anything else.
We're going to end it.
I'm sure there was something else that I was going to... Oh, merchandise is going to be... I'm going to be sorting that out in January. I have a friend in back where I'm from who's going to be sorting that out, and he's got all his printing stuff, so he can only do clothing. I'm going to do key rings and all that. I think I'm going to use Vistaprint or one of those companies, because when you buy in bulk you get a better deal.
Yeah.
So gonna have that. So when I do the Paracon that's the other one I'm doing. That's not America, is it? No, obviously not. It's near Manchester. That's the one in it's beginning of September anyway. I'm gonna have a vendors thing there, so I'm going to be doing merchandise, but I'm also going to be doing recording podcasts. So if anyone is going and they want to talk about any of their encounters or just ask, general questions, I'm going to be recording it, and it's going to go out on podcast only. It's not going to come out on YouTube. It's going to go straight onto Apple and Spotify. So if you'd like to come and share your encounters, you are more than welcome to. That's it. I don't have anything else. Done. Right. So that's it. So thank you everyone for coming in the chat. Why are you laughing?
I don't know.
All right. I'm just waiting for you to say or do something. I got a bit worried then.
No.
Right. Right.
The opposite end of the show.
Right, so that's it. I will see you back on Monday. This is the last Monday, by the way. There are no more Mondays after next week, after the 16th.
Until the next Monday.
No. And then we're going to be back on Wednesday with Wild Bill and Christmas special. So please get all your pictures ready. There will be a prize for the best and the worst. And anyone that was worrying about Sober Carper, because he's not been in the chat for the last few days, I messaged him today and he's fine. He's just been really busy with work and stuff going on, so everything's okay.
Great.
So yeah, I said I'll let everybody know. So that's it. Right, well, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. I'll see you on Monday, and you will see Nicole on Wednesday. And then after Fridays, there's going to be nothing until the 3rd of January. So have a wonderful, wonderful time. I'm not singing, but it's the start of a Christmas song. And see you on Monday. There you go. Right. Take care. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone listening on podcast. Thank you to Nick. Hope everything goes well with the show today. Thank you, Og, for doing the moderating. Thank you, everyone, for coming in the chat. All the members, all the subscribers, new. Got a few more subscribers tonight, so thank you, you guys, whoever you are. It doesn't tell me anymore. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see you all soon. Get your friends to come and like, share, and subscribe. So, we are done. Take care. Goodbye.
Goodbye.